The protein amounts as you're going about this are quite interesting because like you have these sugar fasting days where you eat minimal to potentially no protein, right? And then other days you'll have a certain amount of protein, but uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people that are using this intervention, right, on for multiple strings of days, they're not focused on muscle gain, right? They're focused on trying to lose fat. But I also think that when you're dieting, you'd be surprised about how much muscle you can maintain while not eating an excessive amount of protein. Because the messaging is always a gram per pound or zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram, right? Um, but you know, if you're just trying to strip body fat, if you're doing stuff like that, act like uses that muscle tissue,
Mhm.
and you're eating some protein, you're probably not gonna drop a crazy amount of muscle. You probably don't need as much protein as you're eating to gain that muscle.
I think a good way to look at it might be like weekly protein consumption,
Yeah, yeah.
because if you were to just take your body weight and just chop it maybe in half or so, I think that gives you a decent idea of like a pretty good protein amount.
Mhm.
And you can get into like the body fat percentage, or you can get into like lean muscle mass and so forth. And according to Stan Efferding, when we had hit him on the show, and Stan is always like picking the very upper echelon person to listen to in each specific category. So if somebody has a question about like blood pressure, then Stan will go to the guy who's the leading expert in the world about blood pressure, and he'll find the information to then relay to other people. That's why he's Stan Efferding. That's why he's amazing. And he did the same thing with protein, and what he found was this one guy in particular was saying like, and this is the minimum. So this doesn't mean like this is the amount that you should consume all the time,
Mhm.
because a minimum is a minimum for a reason. Like
Yeah.
this is the minimum that you can get away with before things are probably not going to end up very well for you. And it was like 0.3 times your like lean body mass or something like that. So it was low. Like that is like
Yeah.
surprisingly low. And a number like that is staggering. And also like, again, when you think about that study or what this guy has studied, um, what is he looking for? What's the outcome of those people? Is it just that?
0.3 times your lean body mass in grams of protein?
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's disgustingly low, right? And I think you and I would agree, like, that's not a recommendation that I would go by, right? But it's nice to know that you're still in a fairly safe range if you were to be down that low.
And to maintain your tissue. Again, we're not
Mhm.
thinking about like growing new tissue. We're talking
Growing,
about
yeah,
maintaining your
growing new,
tissue.
yeah, growing your tissue, and you're trying to get like bigger. That's gonna be harder, and that's why I wrote out. I don't love giving people such direct. I don't know why. I don't love giving people direct information because I think that like this is your journey, and I would love for you to take some of the information that I share, and then I would love for you to input it into your own life the way that you did. But you have great knowledge, and not everyone has that same experience level. So I made the Smelly Protocol, and I did Smelly Protocol 2.5 and 1.5, and basically it's just one is set up to where every other day you're breaking the sugar fast,
Okay.
and the other one's set up where on every third day, 2.5 days, you're breaking the sugar fast. And you break the sugar fast with starch, vegetables, and lean meat. If you're trying to continue to get leaner and you just still want that scale to drop, just don't eat the starch. Oh, that looks pretty cool, Ryan.
Oh shit.
Nice work, buddy. Um, so anyway, this is designed and set up for somebody to take those last 2 days. I'm thinking Saturday, Sunday, but you could, whatever 2 days, maybe you have 2 days where you're not working as much, and you could implement this into your plan, and you can almost take the weekend to like get more jacked,
Mhm.
if you will. You can kind of look at it that way. And so it's not like it's not like an all out onslaught of you trying to like regather your protein for the week and so forth. And you could see, also Wednesday, day 3, you're also getting in some protein and starch there. So again, if we just take the week and we look at, how much protein do I need in a week? For me, around 700 grams of protein for the week would be probably pretty good and keep me in a nice range. And hopefully I don't lose muscle mass by doing that. So between those 3 different days where I'm having some lean meat and starch, then I would try to maybe get close to some of that protein amount. Maybe I won't get all the way there, because 700 grams of protein spread out in 3 days. Like, what's the math on that?
It's pretty much 100 grams a day.
Oh,
right.
There you go.
That's the average.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100 to 125 or something, right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's dead on with what I have suggested to people sort of from the beginning. And then you kind of view the fats the same way. Like, again, we don't want our fats to just be rock bottom zero forever. However, when you are burning body fat and you're not in what feels like a nasty caloric deficit, and you're not doing cardio and doing all these other things, I think that you can get away with a little bit lower fat levels than most people might think, because I think the information that we have from bodybuilders is a little bit skewed, because those guys are just working their fucking asses off. And also, we have to keep in mind the body fat level that they start at and the body fat level that they're trying to achieve. So I think all those factors are still very important, but we also have to understand that when you're burning body fat and you have a decent amount of fat on your body, when you burn that body fat, you are getting, like, that is a nutrient. It's still a nutrient. It just happens to be a stored nutrient. And I need to learn more about this, and I'll ask Jay Feldman when I have him on the show. I believe that when you burn your stored body fat, I think it has fat soluble vitamins in it. So some people might be like, well, where's the fat soluble vitamins in the diet? First of all, you're going to get them on these other days, right? You're going to get them on these days whenever you break the sugar fast. But in addition to that, when you're burning your own body fat, it's my understanding that some of that's getting released into your system as well.
Dude, you know what I think is really cool about this? If anybody's ever done like a IFYM protocol, and if it fits your macros protocol, you have certain macros, you have a certain amount of protein, carbs, and fat that you're eating each day, with the simple goal of being in a caloric deficit. You might stagger those numbers a little bit, but it's just like caloric deficit, drop weight. Okay, cool, right? At a certain point, you're going to stall hard. There are things that you got to do. When we're talking about some of these different protocols here, like the things that happen to your body when you're doing a sugar fast, the FGF21 that ticks off because of the lack of protein, you're flipping different switches, and it's different than just eating the same amount of food in macros each day. It affects your energy expenditure differently, and it potentially affects your fat loss differently than just counting your calories and staying in a deficit, where it's actually a different tool than being in a caloric deficit. Because it's
almost like taking a drug.
It could, yeah.
It kind of seems like it.
Yeah, and the reason why I think it's so cool and interesting, and I think it's something that people should maybe keep in mind, is like, you can eat the same amount of food and the same thing every single day, but with this, you have a little bit more. You have more levers that you can pull on, like, on your body metabolically. There are more things that you can do. And like, let's say you have that sugar day, and then you have another day where maybe you do have slightly higher fats and slightly higher protein. Maybe because of this, potentially, it would have an offset to those hormonal negatives that happen when you're constantly eating low fat, like a bodybuilding diet, right? So you don't get that type of drawback. But it's because you're not having that same diet protocol every single day. I think that's going to be the strength of this. Like, it's not as simple as if it fits your macros. It's actually much more complex than that. I'm not saying it's hard, but it's doing something different, right? I think this is just, it's really intriguing. It's a really intriguing type of protocol to try for yourself. Because if you can figure this out, like I'm working on figuring out like what this looks like for my eating patterns on a daily basis. I think it'll just make kind of handling your health that much easier, but also that much more intricate. You're doing more things than just staying in a deficit and eating the same amount of calories each day. And you're having more effects on your body.
Yeah, I don't think that nutrition has really been looked at this way by that many people. I think there's probably some people. I know, like, again, Jay Feldman, and there's a couple other guys that use similar terminology. Um, there's Amplified Vitality. This guy has really great information on YouTube as well. And they talk about like bioenergetics, which I don't even really know what the hell it means, but it's a fancy way of kind of alluding to the fact that it seems like we can train our body to burn more fuel, burn more energy. And if you want to get like deep into the weeds, like please follow Amplified Vitality. Amazing information about like the liver, because people are asking about like fatty liver. Aren't you going to get fatty liver? Kind of hard to get fatty liver when you don't have any lipids running through your body. You don't have like a lot of fat that you're consuming. Usually things like fatty liver, heart disease, and a lot of these other things, they happen first of all when your calories are in an abundance, you're in a caloric surplus, and then in addition to that, you are a lot of times having fats and carbohydrates. And again, for people that want to get like nerdy about it, you can look up stuff about like the Randall cycle, and there's all kinds of cool stuff that you can check out, and you can be like, oh my God. And it just gives you like a better understanding of a lot of these things, because I think, the principle of awareness, which was like studied by the Russians, the Soviet Union had some of the best Olympic weightlifting teams of all time. And they figured out some of these various principles that they had. And one of the main principles was the principle of awareness. And it was like, not only am I going to teach these athletes about how to do a clean or snatch, I'm also going to teach them why it's important, why we're doing these box jumps today, to then transfer over into, knowing why you're doing something. The principle of awareness is really critical. So you might find it more motivating for some of you to get like deeper and deeper into this. For some of you, you also might find that like it's annoying, to learn to go too deep down the rabbit hole. But I think having better understanding of stuff, I think can really be helpful in just keeping you motivated. To me, it's like, it's motivational. When I learn more stuff about this, it like gives me momentum. It makes me feel good. And like learning about a little bit of this stuff from Cole. Cole is someone that I've got to know outside of like just YouTube land. So at first glance, he seems like a crazy person, but he's very kind-hearted, and he's actually very nice. And he works with a lot of people that are obese. He's helping a lot of people that are obese. He did a show recently where he had a woman on there, and she was like 500 pounds, and he's interviewing her. And if you want to see Cole Robinson without all the yelling, that's a great episode to tune into, because he's very kind and he's very sweet. And a lot of times he's, yelling at people for being, fat and stuff like that. But I started learning from stuff from him, and then I found it motivating and inspiring to start learning from other people. And my buddy Joe.English on Instagram, he wrote a book. I'll have him send you a copy of the book. I think you'd really like it. Joe wrote a book. It's called Fueled something. I'm forgetting the name of it, but anyway, he wrote a book that covers a lot of this stuff. This guy has been doing this diet for a long time. He actually did the diet so long, he did sugar fasting. There we go. Fueled to Thrive. He did the diet for so long, he actually sort of broke the system. He sort of screwed himself up a little bit, because he was doing it for so long that he just didn't want to eat anymore. And so what this diet turned into, this diet turned into the candy diet, because he didn't want to eat anything. And he's like, oh man, the only thing I kind of eat is like candy.
Yeah.
And then even he's like chewing on the candy, like reluctantly. He's like, this is gross. He just started to kind of hate it. So then he would like eat a little bit of candy during workouts and so on. But this guy pushed it to the extreme, and he ate candy for like 5 or 6 months straight.
My God, that is disgusting.
Oh, and he got so shredded from it. But this is a guy that like, he understands a lot of the pitfalls of it. And he's the one that brought up GDF 15 to me, and FGF 21, because he's been, he's somebody that's helped people prepare for bodybuilding shows. And he's someone that loves bodybuilding. He also, I think it's kind of cool to see, it's great to see obese people lose some weight and be able to get their their lives headed in a much healthier direction. But it's also cool to see like some of the super freaks out there. And this guy's pretty big. I mean, he's like, I think 6'1" or 6'2". And I think in some of these pictures where he's like shredded, I think he's like 250.
What?
You know, so he's got some good. That's a bit, to me, that's a big deal. Like when the people that are like higher level up go and do stuff like this and you see it, you're like, oh shit, because you know that like downward, it's going to work for everybody else too, right? Like, you know, it's going to work for a lot of people. But anyway, I just find his information to be unique. And in the book, Fueled to Thrive, he talks about so many different scenarios of like when to put the fruit in and the starch and so forth. He has an approach that I think is going to be a lot better for some people. I think DJ Webb, our buddy DJ Webb, is following some of that protocol, I think. Because there's some people that are really concerned about losing muscle. And, you know, just to be perfectly clear, I don't want to lose. I know.
Is DJ...
Wait a second, DJ.
Whoa.
Wait a second.
I've known DJ forever, and I know when you get leaner, you can look bigger. But DJ looks leaner, and he looks like he weighs more. And
what are you?
And his neck is thicker. He seems like he has more. His DJ has. Is he? Can you answer the question that I'm wondering?
Is DJ
I don't like
Webb,
to ask this question.
If you're asking the question, is DJ Webb consuming more carbohydrates than ever? The answer is yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that clear everything up for you?
Yeah.
Or are you still wondering a couple other things?
Are carbohydrates synonymous with testosterone?
They might be.
DJ
Webb is looking.
Oh my God. Even that forearm, like, wow.
Potentially, maybe he knows someone at Merrick Health or something. I don't know.
Okay. So he's in cahoots with Steven Granzella.
You have to keep in mind, DJ runs a lot.
I know. Yeah.
10 miles, 14 miles, 12 miles, 6 miles.
And he runs like every day.
He's running all the time. So he's, you know, and he's new to sugar fasting. It's not like he didn't build his body off of that. So I don't want to make people think that he built his body off of just eating fruit. He's been working out for a long time. He's somebody that is highly dedicated to it. But what I think is cool about his story is he loves keto.
Yeah, he does.
He loves a ketogenic diet, and he loves some of these other diets. And he's, you know, I think he was like, hey, let me try. Like, why would someone like that try something different? You know, you're like, you're there already, right? But we try something different to see if there's something that, you know, you kick the tires, right? You check it out. What if there's something that can improve my jujitsu? Like I'm a black belt, but I'm not going to like, you know, hold the black belt over my head.
That's it. That's all I got to learn, man. There's nothing else for me to learn.
I'm the greatest. And that's it. And then you just like leave jujitsu.
Squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, row. That's all you need.
5 sets, 5 reps.
5 sets of 5.
About 5 minutes rest in between.
Shit.
Just get big AF.